Hello, this is Bernadette Cardi. I'm looking to see if anything is on. It's so bright in this room, so it's hard for me to see. Have to do some. See, this is what I'm saying, like editing your own. I did it before. Just gotta see to do it. But anyway, I'm gonna start off doing some artwork because basically to get myself out there. I've said a lot, and I still have a lot more to say. You don't stop talking as soon as you get there. And like I said, I like this platform. I like it because normally I'm this person that doesn't really say anything. I don't say a word. Ask me a question, I'm just not going to say anything. But I'm going to try to, how I used to talk is through art. I used to draw these pictures all the time in school, to express myself. I used to make my own little book to express myself in. This book, made this book. I can't find this book. This book is long gone. But when I left, when I got out of from my mom's place, I just left everything there, and it's gone. It's just gone for good. I can't retract it. I didn't. It wasn't that important to me anymore. Yeah, it's funny. Just think about these things. Just look at that. Looking back, he wasn't thinking. We're deemed as important. What is important, what's not important. Photographs are important. Even though you don't know who these people are in the photographs, somebody knows in your family who this person is, which is always good to know. I mean, who's this person, Mom? Tell me something. But Mom was not a sharer of photographs too much, maybe because she just didn't think we were interested or cared about those things and whatnot. I only have a handful of pictures of my father. I guess he wasn't very much into taking pictures, I suppose. So I didn't have that much on him. I just want to make sure everything is going through. So like I said, I make field lines. If you remember of any of my other videos, if anyone viewed them, I hope someday somebody picks it up and say, well, I'm bored, let me pick up something. You may not agree totally of everything that I say, because everybody has an opinion. But one thing I do advocate on is God, because He is the center in my life, and that's how it is. I mean, He has a love for all of us. He gave us His Son. But with everything that goes on in the world, like Black Lives Matter and all this stuff, going around, it's is it needed? To a certain extent, I will say, to a certain extent, some people need a wake-up call. I'm going to say some people need a wake-up call. But but people have a tendency that they can abuse this. They can abuse it and make it something else other than what makes sense. But it makes sense to them. It doesn't make sense to everyone else. I feel doing some field lines again. So yeah, but I don't agree with the group of Black Lives Matter. I don't support it. Not because okay, there we go. Not because black or anything and all that. I just don't support it because I am a Christian, and there's some things in the organization that I do not support, and I cannot support. I can if it was Christian based, and it wouldn't be color based, because God would want everyone. His love and his salvation is for everyone. It's not restricted to just the color. So that's why I wouldn't be a part. That's not the only reason, but like I said, there's some things in there that are not of my faith, and my faith and the faith of what you believe in should be the top priority, because our days here are numbered. It's not here for our own convenience, it's numbered. Days are numbered. It's been written down. This is the time you go. I mean, the devil can, of course, do stuff to arrange if he's in if he has control over you. If you have not given your life over to Jesus Christ, and then of course, and you floating in your own, then you're a target, whether you know it or not. You're a target for the evil one. And you can't, and then some people, when they are faced with these situations, they are devastated. And it is a devastating situation to be in the clutches of anything, that you're not comfortable with. It's used to be, the very clutches used to be that your child has gotten pregnant. Now it's much worse. You're faced with all kinds of destruction, and that's why it's chaos in the world today. I mean, sin doesn't make it better. The devil is not trying to make it better for us that live here in the world. But, I mean, the people that we love were not protected. That's what I'm saying. They have, they're not protected. They're not protected away from the devil's clutch. The devil is like, if you're not covered by Jesus Christ, and you're in the grips of Satan. Today, I wasn't in church, but there was church online, and a guy had interesting message, which is true. It's a true, interesting message, and the truth of the interesting message is that you have to be careful of deceivers. Now, deceivers, what they do, they deceive. That's easy, they deceive. But deceivers play on your feelings, and play on your emotions. They play. Men have emotions too, so a deceiver can be a man or a woman. But with the deceiver, who the deceiver is following? The deceiver is following the devil. He's not following God, because God does not deceive. He does not tempt. But a lot of people are deceived. They're deceived by the devil. The Bible says it's like a roaring lion seeking to whom he may devour. And a lot of people are deceived. So we don't look at them. We say, oh, I'm not deceived. I know very well what I'm doing. You're one of those people that are positive about themselves. You can be positive, and the devil loves those people, because then he will mess with you real bad. He loves that. When you think you have the upper hand, he loves that. I wish I could find my book, though. I had a book like it's Passport to Heaven book. Oh, yeah, that book it's just a little book, so it could be easily lost. I also have a black and white book. This guy, this author, he even came to our church, that author. And a lot of people, they were like, even the people in our church were like, well, I don't know. Because everybody always has an opinion on something, because he talked about the Republican Party, they were black people in the Republican Party, and they got hired, but the Democrats didn't like that, because back then they had the Whigs too, but then they went to Republican and Democrat, and they were black people in the parties. They were there in the party. But you see, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people, it's not taught in history, Everybody heard of Frederick Douglass, and some people, even when the stuff that they heard of Frederick Douglass it doesn't grip, make an impact on everything he's done, or everything that he went through. It just tells little bits, and there, and a little bit here, and a little bit there, But it's not a 100% telling you, well, I don't need to know how, what kind of food he likes, But some people, just it's called reflecting from that, and you get involved. It says, oh, Frederick Douglass used to like corn a lot. Well, that's not as important as what he did, and all the stuff that he's done. But a lot of other black leaders that were there and were in this black and white book were mentioned. Now, again, if I had the black and white book, because it's called Black and White, that's what the book is called. I gave it to my children to read and understand, and that there are black people, but the book out when I used to homeschool them, so the book is somewhere in the house, I guess. I hope. I know it's not in the giveaway pile, So some books I do give away to the to Goodwill, you know, educational books. But some books, no, 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 you can't have that. That belongs here. um, you know, this because a lot of times you know, those books that you see that you used to see, like, you know, like Red Riding Hood. You know, people, a lot of people probably had that book, Red Riding Hood, but then it now it's very valuable today, right? It will be like a valuable, like just like comic books. You know, you used to have comic books. You can buy comic books for little or nothing, you know. But you know, people selling comic books for lots of money, you know. And so what I redeem as nothing and what you redeem as nothing is two different things. Because your redeeming might not be the same as mine. But we haven't. And I always deflect myself off subject, you know. Well, anyway, I, you know, a lot of people will support the Black Lives Matter because they're black. And because they're black, they're black. But a lot of people, a lot of white people even support the Black Lives Matter. They're not black, but they support it because they feel they either it's from compassion, you know. You know, they have been through they've been through a struggle, and the people back then, yes, our ancestors have been through a struggle. Okay, oh, that's what happens. It just goes. And can you see this picture? I don't want you to see the picture yet. But anyway, our ancestors went through a lot of struggle, a lot of pain, and this comedian I was listening to him. He says that black people were the only race that didn't want to come here. The other race wanted to be here. I heard different stories on that aspect, you know, about black people wanting to come here and black people not. Now, it was a lot of trades, a lot of trading back then. People trade for different things, trade for spices, you trade for, you know, you just trade for different stuff, you know. Gold, some people like gold, and they want to, I'll trade you this for your gold and whatnot, and so on. So they had things like that, and back then they traded with Africa. So it was not, Africa was like not known to white people. The Africans were there. They knew about Africans there. So it wasn't like a lot of times as the story is portrayed. But so they used to, well, it came about the slavery thing. Well, it all started out with a trade, like I said, trade. Now that's how it started out, because you know, owning people as property, you know, was something. And of course, people are not property; they're human beings. But as the Bible says, you're a slave to something. You're a slave to evil, and you could be a slave to evil. You don't know you're a slave to evil, but you know, you can be a slave to evil. But you can be a slave to a lot of things. But anyway, they did trading, and this king, he, you know, the black the Africans used to have fights, you know. And when you have fights, you have people that you collect, and these are your prisoners, right? And so the people that they had as prisoners, uh, they were locked up, and what I don't know. I don't know if they had the iron bars back then. I can't describe and say, well, yeah, they had these jails and were like prison bars. I couldn't do that because I don't know. But anyway, they had it where the king was like, yeah, what can I trade? What can I trade? So you know, he traded the prisoners that he caught in his renegade, in the war, in his you know, because you have war against one another. And these are my prisoners here, and you can have them, you know, in trade of whatever you're trying to trade with me. You can have them instead. So of course that's how things got around. But of course people say, yeah, it's because they went a raiding. The white man came and he went a raiding and raiding and raiding until he got the black people and took them away from their home and their families, and you know. So a lot of people have their different takes on it, but the kings back there, yeah, they did take prisoners, and they did trade the blacks, because they were their prisoners, and so if the traders came and it says, well, let's make a deal. You know, I like to buy this. I'll trade you this for this, and the king would say, yeah, well, I have some men. You can use those. You know, because, you know, they were nothing to that king. He won whatever he won in the village. He won the war there in the village, and he took hostages, and they were his prisoners. And when they became his prisoners, he can do whatever he wanted with them. And what he wanted to do with them is to use them as the trade. And he traded. I mean, people seem to think that, you know, okay, Africans are not blacks. Africans have a different tradition of how they do things. They're just different. It's not like American blacks, you know. They'll tell you in a minute. Like I told you, I was talking to this guy, and I said, well, you know, I was saying, yeah, black people today is like this, you know. And he said, and I said, yeah, us black people. He says, what do you mean us? I'm not black, I'm African. So she said he said that he's African. And I was just thinking about somebody in my son's class that said the same thing, that, you know, he says they were doing something. He says, what is, because they were doing a split, you know, not on purpose, but it was like a split, and it seemed like all the black kids was on one side, and all the white kids, or, you know, I'm saying Spanish kids, were on the other side. And then there was one girl that was, you know, she was just right there, and I said, come on and join this section. She says, why? Because you're black. She says, I'm not black, I'm African. So it wasn't the only time that I heard, that phrase. And like I told you, of course, you watch my videos. My husband's friend, he's from Jamaica, and I said, well, black people are like this, and blah blah blah. As this is how, black people typically act. Well, he says, I'm not black, I'm Jamaican. So it's it's just a different. It's different. They're you recognize your culture. It's just your culture, and I think it's cool when you recognize your culture, because a lot of people sometimes they get away from your culture. You know, of course, us, we can't get away from our culture because I was born here in America. My past, in the past, I don't know. I know I have ancestors that were in there, African and stuff like that, but I can't say that I am African because I wasn't born in Africa. I wasn't born there. I can't oppose to another black African person and say, well, yeah, you don't know this. I was, Of course, they have leverage on me because they were actually born there. I wasn't born there. What do I know? I wasn't born there. That person was born there. So, again, are they proud of their heritage? Of course they are. I mean, I meet some African people, and they are so proud of their heritage. They are. They are proud of it, and they should be. But again, we have people who are black, and you're black Americans, and you don't know how this thing works with the Africans. We were insulted. Actually, the guy was kind of insulted that I would think of him as an American, because I wasn't. I wasn't thinking. I was thinking that, hey, all blacks are blacks, but not all blacks are blacks. There are different kinds of blacks that are not blacks. They're Americans. They're from Africa or islands or something else. Some are Puerto Rican. They're Puerto Rican, and you can't call them black because they look black. Hey, I'm gonna just ask that black guy over there. I'm not black. I'm Puerto Rican. I mean, we just have to think a little bit more. And again, that's why I say sometimes I go off and I say things like that. People say, "What is she saying?" She said, "We don't think." I didn't think. I thought that this is how this is supposed to be. This is how that and all blacks were blacks, but it's not true. And then again, all whites probably say the same thing. If I say, "Hey, you're a white person," it says, "No, I'm Australian." Of course, you're not. You're here. It doesn't make you. You can have your kids here, but your kids be considered white because the kids are here in America, so they're Americans. But we have a melting pot. We just have this melting pot here going on, and we have just different nationalities of build and some, but and it's beautiful when you have different people. But the only thing that hits the market for me, that hits my nerve, is is the religion. Some religions are are forceful and demeaning and controlling, and the people that come have that religion and they want to keep their religion. And the one thing is, it makes it really, really ridiculous, is that our government condones it, and even some American condones it too. They again going to the church and stuff like that, donating and whatnot. You're like, wait a minute. You can't play two sides of the ball game, just pick a team. Pick your team. Pick a team, and, that's a team. And a team, for me, is Jesus, God. It's not the devil. So let me see. Do this. I'm almost about done with this, and you probably don't know this handsome young gentleman. I mean, you don't know him, but maybe you do, maybe you don't. I just picked him out. I just went anyway. No, I just closed my eyes and picked one. I'm gonna draw you. That's what I've done. I do that because I don't know which one. I don't know what to draw sometimes. And then that's it. Now, like I said, oops, dang it. Sometimes I just drop these things. But at least it's being dropped from a low point. It's not being dropped from a high point. And sometimes you can catch little details in there that you can't catch on the regular. There we go. And it's hard with with this. I'm not making excuses. I mean, it's hard with this to do this. You can have such a bushy one. It's a little small one, actually. I think some guys do their mustaches like that. I just want a mustache, but not so beardy. Just a mustache. Just a noticeable one to say I have one. But it's not to be so out there. And of course, some people like it be very, very bushy. You're gonna know me. You're gonna know I have a mustache. And, that's pretty cool. I mean, but it's the young people, I guess. Some young people are into beards. That's the young people in beards. And I said, where did they get that from? All this beard stuff. Because it's hot. I mean, I would think it's hot. It's a hot thing. I mean, with the summer, some girls even cut their hairs because it's summertime, and they get a haircut. So the guy with his beard, I mean, come on. I can't do anything with this thing. I was trying to make his eyebrows straight because I see in details it's straight. And I want to make it straight. Every time I go over, the marker comes and say, well, you want to erase that? Okay, I'll act as an eraser for you. And I don't want to erase it. I really do not want to erase it. I just want to do it. I don't want to erase it. I don't want to erase the what I have. I don't want to do that. But the marker thing said, hey, I do have stuff there. Do you not see it? So So let's see, I'm gonna do this eye here. I think it's because it's wet. That's what I believe. It's wet. And so that's why it does that. It's wet there. Okay, anyway. I said I try to do this, make his self-beauty. I mean, because it's a lot of things. I like this. You get to see it close because I can't see that well. And then people say, how can you draw if you have cataracts? I don't believe you do, because you shouldn't be able to draw because if you can't see. Okay. All I do, I have to read in large print. I don't think if iPad, there's even large print in for a book that I can read in as with cataracts. So I don't know. I don't think there will be. But anyway, I'll write his name down. He is a football player. I decided to do a football player this time. And yeah, his name is if you can see it up here. Oh, why is it not working for me? I didn't use it all. W. And my little niece, she can draw too. Also, I think I shared that. She's, I am so excited to know that runs in the family. Huh? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to. Can you see that? No, or maybe it's just me as a cataract person. But let me try to write it. Let me see if it'll write in blue. Because blue might, blue said, yeah, let me do it. Okay. Okay, so I decided to draw this football player. I don't know where. Got it. This football player. Football. I'm moving the tripod. I never get this right. So if you can go in detail in, and I did the best I could inside with a marker with my medium. And the board is a medium too as well. So usually I let that be known that, you know, your medium is what you use to do what you do. Like the carpenter needs a medium, and his medium would be his tools, like the board, and if he's putting in a floor, you know, maybe he's putting tile